Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with death in the streets of Manila, talking about what's going on in the Philippines. We got a man here hiding behind a fire hydrant. We're now on to the Nazis blow up the Schweinnommel Dam. February 1945. Largest of Rohr River's dams. Rohr? Someone have to remind me in the comments how that's pronounced. The United States First Army's drive against the Rohr River was held up temporarily by the swirling waters loosed when the Nazis blew up the floodgates of the Schweinnommel Dam, shown here. The dam is located east of Schmidt, a key strongpoint of the Siegfried Line. As the water subsided, our troops seized control of the Great Dam. Yeah, they talk about many times the Germans blew up a few of the dams. Really unfortunate. It's just going to cause more post-war problems than it is war problems, or war holdup, really, even. I get the Germans' idea is to slow down the Allies, but you're also going to just hurt yourself. Like, even if they do win, now you have to deal with all this crap, you know? Yeah. Storming Manila from assault boats. February 1945. Troops cross the Pasig River. Pasig? American forces smashed into Manila on February 5th, but the fanatical Japanese put up a bloody fight within the city, burning and pillaging as they retreated. They destroyed all bridges across the Pasig River, but the Yanks swarmed across the river in assault crafts. Here they are shown crossing the stream in hot pursuit of the stubborn enemy. You can see them getting in their assault crafts, crossing the river as fast as they can. And yeah, the Japanese, as we're talking about basically on all fronts, it's just a retreat from the enemy. They're just trying to fall back to better defensive lines, but there are no better defensive lines. They're going to hold up for a little bit, but not for very long, and then what? Then you're screwed. The Japanese are realizing very quickly how screwed they really are. A Jap is caught in Manila. February 13th, 1945. He'll answer some questions. Few Japanese were taken alive, but this fellow, minus everything but his life, was taken prisoner in the fierce street fighting in Manila. He marched away at gunpoint to answer some questions. On February 6th, the 11th Airborne Division entered the city from the south, and the 37th Infantry went in from the north. However, last-ditch Japanese held out in Manila for many days, burning and looting as they fell back. Yeah, this man, one of the few Japanese soldiers that gave up, surrendered. Not many did. Honestly, a little bit more respect to those who rather did go prisoner. Maybe in the beginning you could say, well, it was honorable to die in combat because there was more of an even footing. There's no even footing here. You're just getting smashed by the enemy. Like, rather live and see the post-war peace than die and be forgotten. Carrier planes strike at Tokyo. February 16th, 1945. More bad news for Jap capital. For the first time, a full-scale carrier plane attack was launched against Tokyo on February 16th and 17th. In place of the high-flying B-29s, swarms of planes swooped in at treetop level to bomb and strafe factories and other military targets in the Tokyo area. The planes were launched from a powerful task force of the 5th Fleet close to the Japanese mainland. 15 to 20 of the fastest carriers were protected by destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and minesweepers in this daring blow at the heart of Japan. 1,200 planes of the United States fleets participated in the devastating strike. The pictures show smoke rising from hits made on industrial targets. You can see right there, and you see a few more here. Now, Were these industrial targets? Who's to say? I couldn't tell just by looking on a map. It kind of looks like maybe, but who knows? As we know now, maybe not at the time they were going to write about this, but as we know now, the Japanese capital and many of their cities were firebombed into non-existence. So we like to talk about both Little Boy and Fat Man and the devastation that they did have. And they did have some devastation. But the reason those two cities were chosen, the only ones left really standing. A lot of Japan is made of wood. So the United States drops firebombs. The firebombs basically destroy most infrastructure. The firebombings of Japan are really some of the most devastating bombings in the war. Obviously, and many people like to point out, well, look, the firebombings did so much more. Why would they be scared of both Little Boy and Fat Man? And to be fair, the firebombs were many bombs. And yes, they did do a lot of damage. I'm not discrediting that. But Little Boy and Fat Man were one bomb each. Like, the same devastation for less the bomb. Just saying, yeah, I would be a little terrified of that. The Yanks return to Corregidor. February 16th, 1945. Paratroopers drop on Fortress. Corregidor, actually. Returning to the scene of America's most bitter defeat, Sky Troops drop down on Corregidor Island, Fortress in Manila Harbor. The island was first softened up by bombs from Army Air Force Liberator bombers, which plastered the area mercilessly, which is this right here. You can see all of the explosions and stuff from the bombs. It took American forces about 2 weeks to destroy the Japanese forces consisting of approximately 6,000 troops on this tiny island. American and Japanese forces fought from cave to cave, and at the end of the month, 4,215 enemy bodies had been counted. Our casualties were 136 killed and 531 wounded and 8 missing. The foe fought to the point of annihilation. With a force nearly double our own, they made repeated banzai charges and had to be blasted out of the rocky caves and crannies or pushed into the sea. Yeah, this is another sign the Japanese are going to fight bitterly. They're not going to give up, even when better judgment would tell them that they should. There's going to be hundreds of Japanese men, hundreds of thousands, really, that were lost because of this war. And why? Well, the warrior spirit. Japan had a very honorable, in some cases, warrior spirit, but it almost destroys a generation that probably didn't need to die. Just like with a lot of the combatants in this war. Iojima Jap Outpost in the Pacific. February 19th, 1945. Tokyo's doorstep. On the morning of February 19th, the American 4th and 5th Marine Division invaded the tiny island of Iwa, one of the volcano group, just 750 statute miles from Tokyo. Between 30 and 40,000 combat troops were borne to the scene of the operation by an armada of more than 800 ships. Landings were forced at 3 places between the extinct volcano core: Mount Suribachi, lower right, and the projection of land at the top. Prior to the landings, warships circled the island, pouring a hail of steel into its defenses, and planes blasted the rocky fortress for 72 hours. Nevertheless, opposition was stiff, and only after the bloodiest struggle were the Marines able to carve out a beachhead 4,500 yards long and about 500 yards deep. The immediate objective of Lieutenant General Holland M. Smith, commander of the troops, was the main airfield, which was reached by patrols 2 hours after the initial landings. Yeah, Iwo Jima is a big deal. The Japanese fight ferociously for this. This is considered basically one of the core islands. It's a smaller island, really, but it's still considered one of the core islands of the Japanese island chain. So if the Americans take this is Japanese soil. This is really important to them. They're going to fight hard. And obviously, this is going to be the end of this episode, but I actually won't get to see the interesting picture, but there's a famous picture from Iwo Jima. But, yeah, the Japanese are going to fight hard. This is one of the hardest places they fight, and for good reason. This is considered to them pretty much home, at least close enough. And with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I could improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.